Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh my gosh, it's been too long. Um, hey y'all. I'm Marla Renee Stewart here of Love Tips and Velvet Lips. Today we are going to be talking about how your intimacy health enhances your spiritual well-being. Good morning. Good morning. Um, I am super excited. Just around talking about this because as y'all know, maybe you don't know, but it's been a long time since I've been on. And mostly it's because I was preparing and getting ready for SDS. If you're not familiar with SDS, please make sure created this conference. It was our 11th year. It was absolutely amazing. And we had such a good time. And trying to. And so, with that said, this is not going to work. We had a great time, but there was a lot. And but it was so powerful. We had such it was powerful. And the theme of this year was spiritual awakening. And with the spiritual awakening theme, we embraced like all sorts of different altars we had set up. We had people do some really powerful calls to the ancestors, calls for just to be more powerful with ourselves. And like I said, I highly encourage you to go to SDS Con for that, to take a look at it. But, going throughout the conference, I mean, I had a wonderful time, a great time. I, actually got to go to a couple classes this time around because sometimes that doesn't really happen. So I did get to go to a couple classes and it was great. Now, the one thing to talk about was around how these things are connected, right? A lot of times we think spirituality isn't necessarily connected with sexuality, but the fact is it is connected, right? We know that because there are certain sexual practices such as Tantra or the Kama Sutra, right, that are interlaced with these spiritual aspects of sexuality. And so it's super, super important that we understand that these two things are connected. Now, when people ask me, I talk about religious trauma a lot, in my work, and how, being in the South and having people understand religious trauma and how it can really kind of negatively affect you. But there's always positive aspects to spirituality and spiritual health. I'm very versed in all the different kinds of religions and how they have affected people. And I've been able to help people because I've been able to read and study up on a variety of religions. When it comes to my own spirituality, I often say I'm a very spiritual being. I meditate, I journal, I do the things I need to do each day to ensure my own spiritual health. And I believe that everybody should have the ability to tap into whatever kind of spiritual resources that they need to feel connected with folks, right? And with that said, there's power in that connection, right? So when we think about sexual health, spiritual health, we often see them as unrelated or as like separate, but they do share a deep and natural connection. We know they give us greater awareness. They help us with alignment. They help us with wholeness, right? And so when we think about they form a powerful synergy that but also the health of our relationships, right? So we know the for connectedness. This is more of spirituality, right? We're always longing for connection to ourselves, really, right? We want connection to something greater than us, right? Our purpose, our what are we doing in life, right? So in connection is visible, it can be emotional, it can be all of these things. In spirituality, direct the divine, right? The universe, a higher purpose, right? So when you connect to intimacy becomes more than just pleasure, right? Um, so hopefully you've been able to hear me, see me, maybe not. I don't know what happened there with the internet, but hey, I'm here, I'm back. Um, so anyway, so thinking about the different types of altered states of consciousness, we know that the big O itself is an altered state of consciousness, right? We are in euphoria, we are in detachment with um, uh, any kinds of spiritual altered states of consciousness through our altered states. I never left. Yes, I never left Instagram, but I did leave YouTube. Facebook, Twitch. So hopefully it's back and okay. But thank you. um, so yeah, just to really understand, hey, spiritual health, these are interconnected. Uh, Longing for connection, self connection to others, knowing something greater than us, knowing that there's emotional, energetic connection, right? And understanding, reinforce our connected with you. That is important, and we need to have that value. And again, thinking about the intersections between sexual and spiritual health lies in that altered state of consciousness, that deep sexual connection. We're entering, states of joy, states of presence, states of transcendence, right? That energy can really weave into things unknowing and guiding us towards those sort of detachment from those everyday worries. So again, doing that through breath work, doing that through ritual, doing that through intimacy, that helps us have that capacity for pleasure, have the capacity for gratitude, and really having the capacity for our everyday meaning in everyday life. So understand these things, these two things are not separate. They are complementary. We saw that at SDS, right? We saw that at Sex Down South. We saw that in the opening ceremonies, at the closing ceremonies. We saw that, right? And it was so beautiful. And so we know these things, they support the connectedness, they support the self awareness, they support our purpose in life. And so if we tend to both, which we should be, I hope you are tending to both of these things, we are inviting a fuller, richer life, one that honors our bodies, one that honors our spirits, and our relationship as sacred and our relationship to the sacred. So I hope that helps you understand the connections between those two. I hope you have enjoyed today a little bit. I'm just so glad to be back. Be back on Mondays. I know it's been a while. I've had a lot of things going on. I was trying to get my doctoral project done, but it'll be done in time. So, and then coming off of Sex Down South has been pretty amazing, but just want to let y'all know that I am still here. And if you have questions, please feel free to always DM me your questions. Feel free to email me at gettips@velvetlipsexed.com. Feel free to, always send me a question if you have a intimacy question that you want some help with. You know what I mean? So if you haven't downloaded your erotic activity bucket list, make sure you check that out and download it. Make sure you subscribe, okay? Because you want to have the free weekly sex advice. We'll get back on track. I know it's been a few weeks, maybe even a month or so, but we'll get back on track. But there are lots of great workshops that are coming up. So make sure you check the calendar. And we'll go from there. So thank you all so much for tuning in today. If you haven't downloaded my free Art and Science of Seduction class, please make sure you do that. And if you have a business and you want to be on the show, you want to talk about your intimacy business as an entrepreneur, I would love to hear you. So please make sure you email me at gettips@velvetlipsexed.com and we'll make it happen. All right, y'all. Thank you so, so much for being here and have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. All right. Bye. Oh, hold on. I swear, I do mean bye.